Hello and welcome back. Joining me now is actually Shane that we just watched. So, Shane, that looked fairly easy from where we were. How was that to play?
It was pretty comfortable, to be honest. They are a good team, but obviously they're basically just a pickup team, so it's what we expected, to be honest.
Now, there's something I actually want to talk to you about, Shane, because you kind of have this thing where you're either, for a while you were like not at events, Epsilon weren't at events, they were either at some of the EGLs or not at them, and it was kind of like, oh, this team's great, but could they beat Epsilon because they're not here? So do you think that now, I mean, you have a lot of events coming up. You have this one, you have ESWC next week, and then in a couple of weeks you have MLG Columbus.
We do indeed.
Are you now looking to kind of make a bit more of an impact with the fact that you're going to be a consistent run of events?
We just want to close the game off. Essentially, the best team in the world, which I guess most could say. We came second to Complexity at G2 without Madcat, who in my opinion is the best player in Europe. But
okay, let's talk about that, because I think everybody at home wants to talk about that game. Now, Complexity versus Epsilon was probably one of my favourite games of all time. I mean, you smashed them in the first two maps, and then they kind of come back. Complexity are known for having that mental fortitude. How are you going to be? Because everybody predicts for you to play them next week at ESWC. You're likely to play them when you go to MLG if you can get that far, and if they can get that far, depending on how it plays on Ghosts. What is the tactics for next time? I mean, Gunji had a really good time picking up for you G2. Now, moving forward, you believe firmly you can beat them? Yeah,
most definitely. We're at an advantage because they haven't been playing. Obviously, they've been really busy recently. They won MLG Full Sail quite comfortably. I don't think they were at their best at G-Finity either, but that comeback they made was insane against us. I'm sure we let a few EU fans down doing that, but they were too good on the day.
They certainly were. So, between you and Complexity, you think you've got them?
I'd have to go in the game confidently. So, player for player, it's pretty even. So.
Well,
it's Crim versus Jad.
Flux was actually saying that. He said basically he was breaking down the two players in that last game, and he kind of went, they're kind of the same sort of team. I mean, they have Jad, you have Jad, they have Crimsix, so you're fairly confident. But let's talk a little bit more about the game you just played now. This team didn't really give you a challenge. Is there anyone you think is going to? Is actually we will be going over. Don't worry. We'll let Momo have his say in a minute. Anyone here you're worried about playing, or you think can really start to give you a challenge?
I'm not worried about playing anyone, but there's really good teams here, TCM and Infused. If we play them, the game's going to be insanely close.
I think that's your next game.
Yeah,
you do have TCM next.
You'll see in about 5 minutes, I think. But TCM are here, Infused. Enigma, they had a bad game in the women's bracket earlier, but they can still bounce back. They're a really good team.
So you're top three?
Top 6, I think. Something like that. What are we? Top 6, Phil? Yeah, we are top 1, though.
I was going to say, what about your actual top? Who do you think is going to come top 3 at this event?
Bar ourselves, I'd say Enigma, TCM, Infused.
Fair enough. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Shane. I'm actually going to let you go back and set up now while we get set up for the next game. So I'm going to pass it over to EGL Central with, I believe it is Dave and Momo.